Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a hidden, lightning-fast world that literally keeps global trade moving: dry bulk cargo chartering. Now, if you think global shipping is just about slow-moving boats casually hauling grain or coal, well, scratch that. Prepare to have that perspective entirely shattered. This isn't your everyday logistics run. This is a massive commercial arena operating at absolute breakneck speed. Millions of dollars, highly volatile markets, no formal meetings. Honestly, it reads like the pitch for a Hollywood financial thriller, right? But this is the reality. Today, we're exploring how fortunes are negotiated, won, or lost literally overnight, often across completely different time zones, by people who will probably never even shake hands in a boardroom. We're talking glowing monitors, rapid-fire comms, and absolutely massive payouts. The sheer pressure cooker these pros operate in is just intense. The stakes, astronomically high. You've got these fast-changing markets, like oil and grain, shifting in the literal blink of an eye. And because this information network is flowing globally 24/7, chartering managers are pulling odd, exhausting hours just to keep up. Contracts are hammered out in minutes, and locking into long-term fixtures, that carries immense financial risk. This isn't a 9 to 5. It is a constant, adrenaline-fueled marathon. Act 1. The setup: intelligence gathering and investigation. So, before a broker makes a single move, they have to ensure the business is rock solid. Precautionary measures are absolutely vital here. Like, is the business actually firm? Have the letters of credit been opened? Is the underlying deal between the buyer and seller fully wrapped up? You have to perfectly align your understanding of the sale contract terms, like who's actually on the hook for freight costs. One tiny misstep here and the whole operation collapses before it even gets off the ground. Forwarding the order is honestly like planning a highly coordinated tactical strike. Whether it's a single voyage or a long-term charter, you're rattling off these crucial details with total precision. Exact loading and discharging ports, cargo limits, stowage factors. You're mapping out specific loading windows, the lay days, and factoring in complex terms that dictate if crews are working weekends or holidays. You even have to check specific vessel restrictions, like age limits, and lock in standardized contract forms. Every single variable has to be dialed in perfectly. Act 2. The negotiation. The fast-paced standoff. This high-stakes standoff plays out in 4 highly standardized, rapid-fire stages. First up, the firm offer. Owners come out swinging, covering the main terms, often floating high freight rates just to test the waters. Then comes the counteroffer, where charterers push back with their firm authority. Third is the recap, where the main terms are agreed on, but they're still subject to certain conditions. And finally, the details, hashing things out to reach a full accord. Ultimately, the outcome completely hinges on who holds the power in a buyer's or seller's market. Picture this flashing across a bright monitor at 2 in the morning. Think's owner's firm offer, which charterers decline, and re-offer as follows. It literally reads like snappy cinematic dialogue. This is how charterers aggressively parry an initial offer. It's highly professional, it's standardized to prevent any cross-globe miscommunications. But make no mistake, it is deeply strategic. And as the fight thickens, the comms get even faster. Repeat, last accept. This is a standard phrase dropped right into the middle of negotiations to keep that rapid-fire volley of counter-offers moving. They aren't rewriting the whole contract, right? They're surgically altering one single point of contention and firing it right back across the globe. Now, when they reach the recap stage, it's often with subjects, and this is where you have to tread very carefully. A recap with subjects means the fixture isn't fully locked yet. It might be subject to board approval, subject to STEM, which means the actual availability of the cargo, or subject to port authority sign-off. You're sitting on a knife's edge here. And the golden rule of chartering: these subjects must never, ever be misused as a shady loophole to back out of a deal. And right here is where we hit a massive legal plot twist. Depending on the jurisdiction, the rules of the entire game change. Under English law, the fixture is not deemed final until those final details are hammered out. But under American law, once the main terms are agreed upon, boom, the fixture is legally binding. Neither party can just walk away. So yeah, you really need to know exactly which legal battlefield you're standing on. But eventually, you achieve this: the clean fixture. This is the triumphant moment the standoff finally ends. Charterers and owners lift all the subjects, the deal is fully concluded, securely locked in, and the shipping industry breathes a collective momentary sigh of relief before the actual voyage begins.
The variables, navigating a world of volatility.
Trying to forecast charter rates is frankly a lot like forecasting the weather. Just look at this montage of global triggers: a sudden OPEC decision, a shift in political stability in the West Asia Gulf, a brutal winter in Europe, crop conditions across China or India, sudden canal closures, or strict new maritime regulations dropping out of nowhere. Any single one of these variables can blow up a carefully planned deal or send freight rates skyrocketing. You are constantly revising your figures and pivoting your strategy.
Survival rules of trade. Hints for the chartering manager.
First up on the survival guide, strategy and discipline. You absolutely must set a target date prior to your market entry. You need a clear, calculated plan. And on the flip side, don't get greedy. In a market this volatile, holding out for that absolute peak rate purely out of greed is a fantastic way to lose the fixture entirely to a competitor who is just a little bit faster and more disciplined. Next is financial vigilance. You've got to carefully include all costs in your voyage costing, preferably using pre-designed pro formas. But whatever you do, do not average out port costs. That is incredibly dangerous. Vessels calling at certain complex or highly regulated international ports can hit you with massively costly surprises. In this game, precision in your costing is your only armor. Timing is absolutely everything here. You have to keep sufficient time on the clock for lifting subjects perfectly aligned with your company's policy. Never let a time limit slip while negotiations are hot. And the ultimate cardinal sin, never ever lift subjects in anticipation. Jumping the gun because you think an approval is coming can lead to some catastrophic financial hits. Act 3, the aftermath, post-fixing and the payout. This final stage is basically the successful getaway and calculating the final score. The dust is settling, but these post-fixing functions require meticulous attention. The charterers or brokers draw up and distribute the actual charter party document, you arrange for the massive freight payments to clear, and finally you settle the final accounts, agreeing on lay time calculations, figuring out demurrage if a ship was delayed, or dispatch if it was fast, and sending that final freight account out for approval. So, why put yourself through this high-wire act day in and day out? Well, look at the rewards. It's the pure thrill of the global search. It's a true test of your skill and integrity under immense pressure. You get conditioned to work calmly and effectively in absolute emergency conditions. And in a world built on trust and rapid communication, if you're good, your reputation reaches the very top incredibly fast. It's a beautiful symbiosis between charterer and ship owner. Which brings us to our final thought. In a high-seas casino where millions of dollars are negotiated overnight, in an environment completely devoid of a single formal meeting, constantly reacting to global political and environmental triggers, do you have the nerve to navigate the global chartering market? It's a hidden world that quietly dictates our modern life. Hopefully, this explainer gave you the blueprint to understand exactly how it works. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll catch you next time.